Define the relation between curriculum, syllabus, lesson. Define course construction. Deciding objectives for a specific course. So let's begin.
Must know knowledge. This is the most essential information to perform the skill. Without this, it is quite impossible to initiate the work. Should know knowledge. This is additional information or knowledge that will enable the trainees to do their work in a better way. Could know knowledge. This is some more information which is required for updating the individuals. It will also improve the efficiency and productivity. Section 1. Syllabus. A syllabus is usually a list of topics to be covered in a course. Prepare a course outline referred to as a syllabus in collaboration with industry experts. This course will focus on developing the specialized knowledge and skill essential for a particular occupation. The outline of the course are divided into 3 parts. Section 2. Parts of syllabus. First part. Trainee should deal with a fundamental training course covering generally the 1/6 of the total training period. Second part. Trainees should acquire an adequate degree of skills covering generally 2/3 of the total training period. Third part. The course will concentrate on intensive practical training, emphasizing hands-on learning experiences. Trainees will undergo extensive practical training in designated training centers, closely supervised and guided throughout. This practical training component will take 1/6 of the total training period. Section 3. Curriculum. It is the course of study offered by the institution. It describes the goals planned, objectives, content, learning activities for a specific time frame, place, tools, and evaluation procedures. It is planned in terms of framework of theory and research or past and present professional practice. It covers all the activities and arrangements made by the institution throughout the academic year to facilitate the learners and the instruction. Section 4. Necessity of analyzing syllabus. To weed out unnecessary information. To concentrate on the essentials of the job. To teach from simple to complex. To prepare instructional material. To teach in a logical instructional sequence. Section 5. Syllabus analysis. Analyzing a syllabus is important in order to find out the sequence of topics to know what to teach, when to teach, and how much to teach. Instructor analysis of the syllabus is crucial, recognizing that anything teachable and learnable can be dissected into simpler elements. Instruction should commence from the basic and uncomplicated, gradually advancing to the difficult. All wholes are composed of smaller parts, and training craftsmen and developing complex skills involves breaking down skills. Learning begins with the easy skills and progresses to the challenging ones. This logical approach, starting from simplicity and moving towards complexity, is the correct method for training. Breaking down trade skills to establish a logical instructional sequence is referred to as analysis. Section 6. Method of syllabus analysis. The syllabus can be analyzed by many methods. The main consideration in selecting the method is the purpose of the training for which it is organized. A. Job analysis method. If we want to teach someone to do a specific job well, we can use the job analysis method. This means breaking down the job into smaller skills or operations, arranging them from easy to hard. This helps create a step-by-step guide for teaching the job effectively. Here, job means a completed piece of work or work job and not a job for which we get paid or payroll job. Curriculum. Courses of study offered by an institution. Syllabus. Outline and timeline of a subject. Module. Group of similar topics or lessons of a syllabus. Unit. Particular division of a module allotted to complete within a specific duration of time. Lesson. Smallest part of a unit of instruction prepared after analyzing the syllabus. Lesson plan is a teacher's detailed description of the course of instruction for an individual lesson. Curriculum covers all the activities and arrangements made by the institution. It systematically describes the goals planned, objectives, and content, learning activities for a specific time frame, place, tools, and evaluation procedures. Whereas, syllabus is an outline and summary of topics to be covered in an education or training course with a schedule of time. It is limited to a particular subject of a particular course. Formation of syllabus. Before forming a syllabus, first objectives must be decided. The must-know knowledge of the subject matter must be included in the syllabus. A syllabus is a list of topics which has to be completed within a specified duration of time. Before actually starting a course or a topic, the planners have to decide on the objectives. Objectives are the intended outcome for which the course is to be started and what they expect the students to become fulfilled immediately on completion of the course. Deciding objectives for a specific course. The objectives of a specific course will be decided based on the content and need assessment. Before starting a course, the planners will make a survey of all kinds of skills needed by developed and developing industries. This survey will enable them to know the skills required for industries. Based on this, they will determine the objectives of the course and develop the content. Let's quickly recap what we have learned till now.
Course construction involves defining the relation between curriculum, syllabus, and lessons. Curriculum encompasses institutional study offerings while the syllabus outlines subjects with a timeline. Objectives are crucial, shaped by industry needs for specific courses. I hope you have understood whatever was taught in the video. See you in another interesting and exciting video. Until then, thank you and goodbye. Hello trainees. Today we are going to learn about skill learning. The objectives of the session are: after the session you will be able to define skill, explain the process and transfer of skill, state the phases in skill learning. So let's begin.
Skills differ greatly in type and complexity. The learning process that people go through when learning various motor skills is similar. Physical skills can just be learnt by watching and doing. Employers prefer this method. This way, employers could expertise certain contact over their employees, and also because there is no systematic study about how these skills could be transferred. The recommended 7 steps method of transfer of skill are: show the learners how to do it, explain the key points, do it again as the learners watch, let them do the simple and complex parts of the job separately. Limitation: help them do the whole job. Linking: watch them as they do the whole job. Refinement: make them practice by putting them on the job. Learning is made up of 3 different phases, namely phase of acquisition, phase of retention, and phase of recall. Phase of acquisition. In this phase, the learner will learn using his mind. Attention and perception are the main factors involved in this stage of learning. Perception means seeing an object with meaning. How much a learner learns depends upon his perception and the amount of attention he has paid to the learning situation. The learner focuses his or her attention on the things to be learnt because he wants to learn them. For example, if someone is interested in something like television or radio, then they might try to learn science in order to know how they work. If someone is motivated to learn by getting rewards or prizes, They might focus because they want the prize or reward and not because they want to learn. Both kinds of motivation are useful for the purpose of acquisition in a learning situation. Psychologists say that one should possess the capacity to receive and learn the things that the instructor wants to teach him. This is known as readiness to learn. This readiness by the learner is required to learn any kind of learning. Phase of retention. People forget things that they have learnt if they do not use them. As a result, instructors advise overlearning as opposed to underlearning. Things can be remembered throughout the learner's life if they have been overlearned. To achieve such a state, the learner should not satisfy oneself with the minimum amount of study but practice repeatedly beyond the level of just recall for remembering things. One more thing that helps the learner to remember things is how information is organized and connected in a meaningful way. Application phase. The third phase of learning is called recall. Only when the learner can recall the material from memory when it is needed, learning is said to be complete. Let's look at what Aristotle said about this theory. In order to remember something, it needs to be connected or associated with something else in our minds. When we recall a memory, it's easier if it is linked to a related idea or experience. Our memories are not stored randomly. They are organized and connected based on how they relate to each other. Let's quickly recap what we have learned till now.
This video on skill learning covers the transfer of skills through a 7-step method. It emphasizes the 3 phases of learning: acquisition, retention, and recall. Attention, perception, and readiness are crucial in the acquisition phase, while overlearning and meaningful connections aid retention. Recall completes the learning process. Hope you have understood everything taught in the video. See you in another interesting and exciting video. Until then, thank you and goodbye. Hello trainees. Today we are going to learn about skill learning. The objectives of the video are: after the session you will be able to define the 3 phases of skill learning: cognitive phase, fixation phase, autonomous phase. Explain the important elements of skill learning: observation, participation, imitation, and repetition. So let's begin.
3 phases of skill learning. As our knowledge about the skill goes further, we gradually understand that development of physical skill takes place under 3 distinct phases. They are as follows: cognitive phase, fixation phase, autonomous phase. Cognitive phase. In this phase, we will see what should be done to achieve what, in what order and how. In this phase, the learners under the guidance of the instructor develops the related knowledge theory in executing the skill. First, the learner watches and pays attention to the skill the instructor is demonstrating. The instructor explains 3 things. What to do. This means the steps or actions involved in the skill. How to do it. This includes the techniques and methods to perform the skill correctly. Safety points. The instructor explains the important safety rules and precautions to follow while doing the skill to avoid accidents or mistakes. The instructor will explain the step-by-step process by which skill can be completed with minimum errors. In this phase, the instructor demonstrates the skill so as to show the learners the orderly way of doing the skill. Fixation phase. In this phase, the learners learns the correct behavior without making any mistakes through a number of repetitions. Correct behavioral patterns are practiced. Thus, the behavior of the learner or the systematic way of doing the skill is fixed. When you can combine your understanding of how to do something with your physical abilities, you can perform a task or skill better. Also, coordination and step-by-step approach leads to better results when performing any skill. At this stage, the learner applies the knowledge of what to do and how to do. The when to do and how well done aspects of operation develop through practice. From this phase, the learners move to the autonomous phase. Autonomous phase. In this phase, the learner learns to perform his job without any help or error and within the given time. The learner gets confidence in him or herself as they need not concentrate and think too much. When the learner becomes really good at a skill, he or she can perform each step smoothly and easily without much thinking. In this phase, the learner becomes really good at what they do and performs the skill better. Skill learning. The process of acquiring the skill. Skill can be acquired only after undergoing a practical training. In vocational training, the skill-related theory will be taught first. Next, the instructor will show the skill elements one by one with safety precautions to follow in handling the tools, instruments, equipments, machineries, etc. in a correct order. The learners will be asked to perform the skill. For the learners to learn the skill properly, they must pass the stages of observation, participation, imitation, and repetition. Each one of them are explained below. Observation. The instructor will first show how to operate a particular machine or to do a particular procedure. The learners need to observe this carefully. The instructor must not do any mistakes in this stage. Learners need to observe the following: what is being shown, how to perform a skill, techniques of performing the operation, correct way of handling tools and equipments, safety precautions to be followed. Participation. In this stage, the learners will be given an opportunity to handle the tools or raw materials used in the demonstration. The instructor will guide only if necessary. This will develop the learner's ability to handle or use the tools, etc., and also to work in a group with confidence. Imitation. In this stage, the learners try to copy the instructor. This will be their first experience of doing any job, and they might make a mistake. When it happens, the instructor should guide the trainees. Otherwise, it will become a wrong habit. The instructor has to keep in mind that the trainees must immediately try to copy their teaching. Otherwise, they will forget whatever they saw. Repetition. In the imitation stage, with proper guidance of the instructor, the trainees learn proper method and technique of practical work. But for perfection, speed and accuracy, they have to repeat it again and again. So repetition plays an important role while acquiring and mastering the skill. Let's quickly recap what we have learned till now.
This skill learning video covers 3 phases: cognitive, fixation, and autonomous. The cognitive phase involves understanding what, how, and safety aspects of the skill. The fixation phase focuses on repetitive practice, establishing correct behavior. The autonomous phase allows learners to perform the skill confidently and independently. Key learning elements include observation, participation, imitation, and repetition. Hope you have understood everything taught in the video. See you in another interesting and exciting video. Until then, thank you and goodbye. Hello trainees. Today we are going to learn about lesson plan preparation. The objectives of the video are: after the session you will be able to define lesson plan, explain the components of a lesson plan, So let's begin.
Definition of a lesson plan. A lesson plan is a detailed description of the course of instruction prepared by an instructor for an individual lesson related to theory. Let's move on to the major and minor components of a lesson plan. The major components of 4-step of a lesson plan are preparation step, presentation step, application step, testing step. Let's look at the preparation step in detail. Preparation step, title and objectives, teaching aids, review, motivation. Let's look at objectives. Teaching a lesson has specific goals or purpose we call objectives. Let's look at teaching aids. When multiple senses of the learner, that is hearing, seeing, smelling, etc., are involved, then learning becomes interesting and easy. In the training of craftsmen, we can also show the learners the tools, materials, machines, and processes through actual objects or through charts, models, through projectors, or by other manner than to get them listening to the instructor. So the instructor must try to obtain these items and make them ready to use before the class starts. Let's look at introduction. How are you going to introduce a new lesson in the class must be written briefly. If this lesson is linked with a previous lesson, then you need to use this link between the known to the unknown. At this stage, you need to motivate the learners to make them interested in the new lesson. An introduction to a lesson need not be a lengthy one. A few relevant points properly developed with realistic examples which the learner can understand. Let's look at review. Just because the learners are physically present in the class, that does not mean that they are mentally ready to understand your presentation. You need to make the learners ready or prepared to receive the new lesson before you start to teach. Then the first thing you have to do in a class is to discuss the important topics of the previous lesson. As you discuss, write some small questions about previous lesson to make sure that the learners have remembered what you taught in the previous class. You can show the importance of the current lesson by connecting it to the previous one. If it's the first lesson, talk about what learners already know about this topic. Let's look at motivation. Motivation is creating willingness. As an instructor, you must make the trainees excited about learning the new lesson. Have some short notes on how you are going to create interest in the minds of learners to learn the new lesson. Let's move on to presentation step. Topics and developments. Information points. Hints. Let's look at topics. The important points in the lesson that is going to be taught should be developed with interesting catchwords written clearly so that you can refer and pick up at a glance. You don't have to write full sentences. Depending on the objectives or goals of the lesson to be taught, select the topics. These topics should be arranged in a logical sequence. Let's look at the information points. Summarize important points using keywords and short phrases similar to a telegraph message. Write the must-know information of each topic properly. Let's look at information points. You can use codes, symbols, and abbreviations that are familiar and convenient in reference to the objectives and topics. Let's look at spot hints. You need to enter spot hints in the appropriate place. These hints can be in the form of codes, symbols, or simple diagrams made to capture the learner's attention and make the instruction as effective as possible. You can also use charts, models, and abbreviations that you find easy and familiar to improving your teaching efforts. For instruction at a particular stage of development of the lesson, a chart is to be shown, may be indicated as W/C or C, and asking a question by A or Q or a question mark as keyword as the entire plan is made and used by you in the presentation stage. Displaying of teaching aids is important for effective teaching. Let's move on to application step. Learning occurs when the learner has the chance to apply their acquired knowledge in real-life situations. Sometimes there isn't enough time for this application during the class presentation. Therefore, it's crucial to tell how these opportunities will be provided during the application stage of the lesson. This can be achieved by asking direct questions related to the topics to the learners. This gives learners an opportunity to demonstrate their understanding, seek clarification for any doubts they may have, and engage in interactive discussions. Also, when trainees answer, tell them how good the answer was. Also, repeat the correct answer. Let's move on to test step. During this stage, it's important to ask trainees comprehensive questions about the lesson that was just taught. These questions can be presented either orally or in written form. Remember to have eye contact when asking questions and receiving answers. Let's look at assignment. Some questions which were discussed about the lesson should be written under assignment. Related problems, exercises, and different question types, both objective and subjective, can be provided on separate assignment sheets. Let's look at next lesson. Title of the next lesson to be taken has to be mentioned under this heading. A brief insight into the next lesson must be given to help the learners to think ahead of the subject and make them to understand better. Although we have seen a model lesson plan, let's actually go through a lesson plan for computer network. Trade, computer, date. Lesson number 4. Module or unit 1. Time 30 minutes. 1. Preparation. Title: Computer Networks. 1. Objectives. After teaching this lesson, the learners will be able to 1. Define a computer network. 2. Explain network protocol. 3. State the different types of network. 4. Describe network topology. 2. Teaching aids. Essential teaching aids: computer multimedia, projector, screen, etc. 3. Introduction. A. Review, programming. B. Motivation. Network link computers from different places. 2. Presentation. Developments or topic. Information points. Hints. 1. Computer network. Collection of hardware components and computers interconnected by communication channels that allow sharing of resources and information. Use chart, projector. Network. 2. Protocol. Communication protocols define the rules and data formats for exchanging information in a computer network and provide the basis for network programming. Developments or topics. Information points. Hints. 3. Types of networks. 1. Local area network, LAN. 2nd. Wide area network, WAN. 3rd. Metropolitan area network, MAN. 4. Network topology. Network topology is the layout pattern of interconnections of the various elements, links, nodes, etc. of a computer. Some types of topology are star, bus, ring, mesh. 5. Advantages. People can communicate efficiently and easily via email, instant messaging, telephone, video conferencing, printer, sharing, etc. 3. Application. Information points. 1. What is a computer network? 2. Tell few advantages of a computer network.
3. What is network topology? Summary. Summarize the lesson. Definition, protocol, types of network topology. Diagram. 4. Test. Assignment. Add assignment sheet separately. Reference, Computer Networks by Andrew S. Tannenbaum. Next lesson, Internet. Let's quickly recap what we have learned till now. This lesson on lesson plan preparation highlights its definition and components. The preparation step involves title, objectives, teaching aids, review, and motivation. The presentation step covers topics, information points, and hints. Application focuses on real-life application and testing involves comprehensive questions. Hope you have understood everything taught in the video. See you in another interesting and exciting video. Until then, thank you and goodbye. Hello trainees. You have already learned how to prepare a lesson plan systematically for a theory subject. Now you shall learn how to make a demonstration plan systematically for a practical skill. The objectives of the video are: after the session you will be able to define demo plan, explain the steps involved in making a demo plan, prepare a demo plan. So let's begin.
Definition of a demonstration plan. Demonstration plan is a detailed description of a practical lesson or a skill prepared by an instructor for a specific duration of time. Demonstration plan is a detailed description of a practical lesson or a skill prepared by an instructor for a specific duration of time. The four components of a demo plan are preparation step, demonstration or presentation step, imitation or application step. 1. Practice or evaluation, that is, test step. Let's first take a look at demo plan. Let's look at the preparation step in detail. Step 1. Preparation. This must be a skill and this demonstration should not take more than 30 minutes at a time. Next, objectives. As the demonstration is for a particular skill, there will be only one objective, but there can also be one or two additional objectives very closely interlinked. Next, tools and other requirements indicate here the various requirements of raw materials, tools, equipments, measuring or checking instruments, etc. to conduct the demonstration so that they can be arranged before we start the demonstration. For the demonstration of the skill, you need to provide the specification of the required items and quantity required correctly. Next, introduction. Before the demonstration of the skill commences, a short introductory talk or review of preparing the learners is done. Information about the importance of the skill, how it is related to other known skills, etc. would create a desire or motivation in the learners to learn the skill. Let's look at the demonstration step in detail. Step 2. Demonstration or presentation. Procedure. The actual step in the performance, that is do of the skill, in sequence are written here. Information points or safety precautions. Against this step, the sequential procedure or any information such as why, what, or how, tell or show, and important safety precautions that may be relevant at this step are written in the form of using catchwords, keywords. Questions. Questions to draw attention, stimulate thinking or to recall information and to check understanding are written against each stage. Let's look at the imitation step in detail. Step 3. Imitation or application. After the demonstration is over, opportunity is provided to learners to do the skill by themselves independently. Instructor guides them to learn the skill correctly and quickly. Instructors should rectify trainees' mistakes, if any, then and there. Summary: the sequential steps in the performance of the skill and important information or safety precaution are stressed and repeated. Let's look at the practice step in detail. Step 4. Practice or evaluation. Test. In this step, the instructor provides opportunity to learners to practice the above skill such that they attain accuracy, speed, and quality through repetition following safety precautions. During this step, the instructor has to evaluate the trainee performance. Next skill. Write the title of the next skill to be demonstrated here. Trade. Specify trade. Date. Day when demo plan prepared. Demo number. Refer to syllabus. Module or unit. Refer syllabus. Time. Required time for demo. 1. Preparation. Skill. Practical topic to be performed. Objectives. After demonstrating of the skill, the trainees will be able to state the behavioral objectives of the skill in logical sequence. Objectives should not be written as 1. What is Ohm's law? 2. The verification of Ohm's law, etc. Write objectives starting with measurable action verbs. Tools and other requirements. Necessary tools, equipments, raw materials, consumables required for the demonstration. Introduction. Review. Link previous knowledge of the learner to connect the present skill. Motivation. Create willingness to learn. Tell the purpose of learning. Second, presentation. Procedure. Information points or safety precautions. Hints. Write main points with reference to the objectives. Step-by-step procedure of the practical work and safety precautions to be followed. Symbols, spot hints, models and charts. Third, application. Ability to use learnt material in new and concrete situations. Check the learner uses facts, principles, rules, and theories in solving problems. Application of skill gained. Imitation of the demonstration. Developing questions, probing questions may be asked while demonstrating the skill. Interact with trainees. Summary. Summarizing the skill with reference to the objectives. Fourth, test. Assignment. To be given to the trainees related to the skill. Reference. Book name and author name for reference. Next skill. Topic of the next practical or extended teaching. For example, trade. Electrician. Date 8/11/2023. Demo number 01. Model unit 2. Time 30 minutes. 1. Preparation. Skill. Verification of Kirchhoff's law. 1. Objectives. After demonstrating the skill, the trainees will be able to check the components and equipments, draw the Kirchhoff's law diagram, construct the circuit, verify Kirchhoff's law, KCL and KVL. 2. Tools and other requirements. Resistor, PCB, dot matrix, soldering iron, connecting wire, milliammeter, voltmeter, and DC regulated power supply, multimeter, etc. 3. Introduction. A. Review. Previous class you learnt DC circuit theory. B. Motivation. Kirchhoff's law is a very important for network analysis. 2. Presentation. Procedure. Information points or safety precautions. Hints. 1. Check the components. Check the physical and electrical working conditions of the components and equipments. 2. Circuit diagram. V is equal to V1 plus V2. I is equal to I1 plus I2. Procedure. Information points or safety precautions. Hints. 3. Construction of circuit. 1. Construct the circuit as per the circuit diagram. 2. Apply DC voltage to the circuit. 3. Observe and record the current in milliamps. 4. Observe and record the voltage in volts. 5. Calculate the voltage and current by using the formula. Record the reading in tabular column. 4. Safety protections. 1. While connecting the components, be sure the power supply is switched off. 2. Ammeter and voltmeter connections must be connected properly. Applied voltage. Voltage across resistance. Current. 3. Application. 1. Ask the trainees to observe the readings. Summary. Summarize the skill. You have learnt about Kirchhoff's law, verification of Kirchhoff's law, KCL and KVL. 4. Test. Assignment. 1. Find the value of R if 1 is equal to 10 milliamps and V is equal to 20 volts. Reference Nimi. EM First Year Trade Practical. Next lesson, Conductor Joint. Let's quickly recap what we have learned till now.
This video on demonstration plan preparation emphasizes its definition, importance, and components. The 4 steps include preparation, demonstration, imitation, and practice or evaluation. Each step outlines objectives, tools, introduction, procedure, information points, safety precautions, and questions. The practice or evaluation step allows learners to independently apply and refine the demonstrated skill. I hope you have understood whatever was taught in the video. See you in another interesting and exciting video. Until then, thank you and goodbye. Hello trainees. Today we are going to learn about lesson plan preparation. The objectives of the video are: after the session you will be able to state the importance of planning a lesson, state the advantages of planning a lesson, and also prepare a lesson plan. So let's begin.
Importance of planning a lesson. As an instructor, it ensures you the right allocation of teaching time to each topic. It allows you to bring your subject matter up to date. It assures you the intended outcome through the well-written objectives. It builds you to revise and modify the teaching material in the light of previous performance and past experience gained. It helps you to prevent unnecessary overlapping of subjects, lessons, and repetition of information. Moreover, adequate planning boosts your self-confidence in your ability to teach in an interesting, effective, and efficient way. Let's move on to the advantages of planning a lesson for the instructor. Advantages of planning a lesson for the instructor. It forms as a record of teaching learning activity. It assists you to place the information in sequence, helps you to get confidence, as you need not always depend on your memory. Facilitate you to select and use teaching aids at appropriate time during presentation. It serves you to organize complete teaching, learning activity in a smooth way and manage the entire class activities within the stipulated time. It assures you that all the points are covered about the lesson, helps to maintain the learner's interest till the finishing of the class because they are understanding the subject correctly and also they are getting time for interaction. It also helps in imparting uniform instructions in different classes at different timings. Let's move on to the advantages of planning a lesson for the trainees. Advantages of planning a lesson for the trainee. Learners are getting interest in learning more and more by attending a planned instruction of an instructor. Learners are getting confidence and satisfaction in the subject what instructor has presented by systematic and sequence order. Serves the purpose to meet the requirement of learners at different levels. Expected standard of knowledge is being acquired because instructor has taught the lesson in a planned manner. Although we have seen snippets of a lesson plan, let's actually go through a model lesson plan.
Trade. Specify your trade, module or unit. Reference to syllabus. Date. Day when lesson plan prepared. Time. Required time for teaching. Lesson number. Refer to syllabus. 1. Preparation. Title. Lesson heading. 1. Objectives. After teaching of this lesson, the trainees will be able to 1. Instructional objectives of the lesson in logical sequence. 2. Write objectives starting with measurable action verbs. 3. Presentation should not be too much or too less for a single sitting class. Write at least 2 objectives and maximum up to 4 objectives. 2. Teaching aids. Essential teaching aids, that is CB, WB, duster, charts, projector, transparency, model, pointer, etc. 3. Introduction. 1. Review. Link the learner's previous knowledge to connect present lesson to. Motivation. Create willingness to learn. Tell the purpose of learning. 2. Presentation. Developments or topics. Information points. Hints. Development of preparation step. Definition and important points with reference to the content or topics. Spot hints, symbols, circuits, topic charts, transparency, etc. Topics or terms with reference to the objectives. 3. Application. Application of knowledge gained. Effectiveness of teaching. Ability to use the learnt material in new and concrete situations. Check how well the learner uses facts, principles, rules, and theories in solving problems. Ask developing questions, probing questions. Interact with trainees. Ask simple and direct questions. Summary. Recapitulate the lesson with reference to the objectives. 4. Test. Assignment. 1. To be given to the trainees consists of objective and subjective type of questions. 2a. Separate assignment sheet may be enclosed. Reference. Book name and author name for further reference. Next lesson. Designate the next lesson. Extend teaching. Although we have seen a model lesson plan, let's actually go through a lesson plan for computer network. Trade, computer. Date. Lesson number 4. Module or unit 1. Time 30 minutes. 1. Preparation. Title. Computer networks. 1. Objectives. After teaching this lesson, the learners will be able to 1. Define a computer network. 2. Explain network protocol. 3. State the different types of network. 4. Describe network topology. 2. Teaching aids. Essential teaching aids. Computer multimedia, projector, screen, etc. 3. Introduction. A. Review, programming. B. Motivation. Network link computers from different places. 2. Presentation. Developments or topic. Information points. Hints. 1. Computer network. Collection of hardware components and computers interconnected by communication channels that allow sharing of resources and information. Use chart, projector. Network. 2. Protocol. Communication protocols define the rules and data formats for exchanging information in a computer network and provide the basis for network programming. Developments or topics. Information points. Hints. 3. Types of networks. 1. Local area network, LAN. 2. Wide area network, WAN. Third, Metropolitan Area Network, MAN. 4. Network topology. Network topology is the layout pattern of interconnections of the various elements, links, nodes, etc. of a computer. Some types of topology are star, bus, ring, mesh. 5. Advantages. People can communicate efficiently and easily via email, instant messaging, telephone, video conferencing, printer, sharing, etc. 3. Application. Information points. 1. What is a computer network? 2. Tell few advantages of a computer network. 3. What is network topology? Summary. Summarize the lesson. Definition, protocol, types of network, topology. Diagram. 4. Test. Assignment. Add assignment sheet separately. Reference, Computer Networks by Andrew S. Tannenbaum. Next lesson, Internet. Let's quickly recap what we have learned till now. This lesson on lesson plan preparation highlights its importance. The advantage for instructors and trainees are emphasized. Model lesson plan is prepared. Hope you have understood everything taught in the video. See you in another interesting and exciting video. Until then, thank you and goodbye. Hello learners. Today we are going to learn about teaching practice. The objectives of the video are: after the session you will be able to describe systematic way of teaching, follow proper teaching practice procedures. So let's begin. Teaching or training is an instructional activity of delivering a particular skill or subject. Through it, we aim to make learners learn through a method that is morally and learning-wise acceptable. To do so, we need an instructor, learner, and content in the form of knowledge, facts, information, and skill to be taught. Teaching is a planned action done with the idea of making the learner learn. We can understand teaching in two different ways. 1. We can understand teaching to be an instructor-centric activity in which knowledge is transferred from the instructor to the learner. 2. We can understand teaching to be a learner-centric activity in which the instructor makes learning possible for learners by supporting and guiding learners in their journey of getting new knowledge and skills. Teaching or training skills. It is a complex activity in which an instructor needs to do many things and achieve many goals at the same time. The principles given below can make teaching more effective and efficient by helping us create the conditions supporting learners' learning. While following these principles requires us to spend time and effort, it leads to saving time and energy later on. Effective teaching involves acquiring relevant knowledge about trainees and using it to inform our course design and classroom teaching. When instructors are teaching something, they are not just sharing information, they are helping learners understand and learn that information. The learner's characteristics, that is attitude, can affect learning. For example, learners' cultural background influence how they see the world. Educational backgrounds lead learners to approach problems in different ways. Good teaching involves aligning the three major components of instruction: learning objectives, instructional activities, and evaluation. Teaching will be more effective when
you can be able to explain the techniques of asking question या फिर explain the process of asking question.
A. The instructor sets certain knowledge and skills, also known as learning objectives, that are expected to be learnt and demonstrated by the learners
after completion of the topic. The instructional activities, for example, case studies, labs, discussions, support these learning objectives by giving goal-oriented practice. C. The assessments, for example, test, problem solving, skill performances, provide opportunities for learners to demonstrate and practice the knowledge and skill set in the objectives, and for instructors to offer targeted feedback that can guide the trainees for further learning. Effective teaching involves stating the objectives clearly, teaching the topic by telling the purpose of learning the topic with example, completing the topic within the specific duration of time. When an instructor is clear about what learners are expected to learn, they can inform the learners clearly and directly about those expectations. This clear communication helps learners learn better and do well in their studies. Telling the learning objective clearly gives learners a clear target to aim for and enables them to monitor their progress along the way. Effective teaching involves prioritizing the knowledge and skills we choose to focus on. Don't try to do too much in a single course. Having too many topics work against learners' learning. So it is necessary for us to make decisions about what we can include in a course. This involves A. Recognizing the limits of the course, example, class size, learners' backgrounds and experiences, course position in the curriculum sequence, number of course units. B. Setting our priorities for learner learning. And C. Determining a set of objectives that can be comfortably completed. Effective teaching involves recognizing and overcoming our expert blind spots. As experts, we tend to use and apply our knowledge automatically and without realizing. For example, we connect ideas, use what we know, and choose the right methods automatically. So we often skip or combine important steps when we teach. But learners don't have the experience or knowledge to think of these steps, so they become confused. This causes them to make wrong conclusions and fails to develop important skills. Learners need instructors to break tasks into simpler steps, to explain connections clearly and model processes in detail. Though it is difficult for experts to do this, we need to identify and clearly communicate to learners the knowledge and skills which we taken for granted so that learners can see the experts' thinking and they can practice by applying it individually. Effective teaching involves adopting appropriate teaching roles to support our learning goals. We can take on a variety of roles in our teaching. Example, replace terms, synthesizer, moderator, challenger, commentator. These roles should be chosen to teach the learning objectives better and in support of the instructional activities. Principles of teaching. They are strongly connected to a guiding principle or a rule of behavior. In simple words, teaching methods are based on two types of principles: general principles and psychological principles. Principle of motivation. It creates curiosity among learners to learn new things. Principle of activity. Learning by doing. This includes both physical and mental activities. For example, learners are asked to make charts and models. 3. Principle of interest. By creating interest among the learners, the effectiveness of the teaching learning process can be increased. 4. Principle of linking with life. Life is a continuous experience and learning linked with life lasts longer. 5. Principle of definite aim.
Today we are going to be learn about racing. This technology useful to repairing work in the refrigeration systems.
Having a definite aim or clear goal helps instructors use their teaching tools effectively and ensures learners concentrate on learning what's necessary. 6. Principle of recognizing individual differences. Every learner is unique in terms of intelligence, attitude, abilities, and potential. Socioeconomic background. The way instructors teach should be designed so that every learner has the same chance to succeed in life. 7. Principle of selection. The knowledge in what we are trying to study is expanding each day. The instructor should be able to pick content that can be more relevant. They should also update that content as learners' objective. 8. Principle of planning. Every instructor has specific objectives they want to achieve within a certain time. Hence, teaching should be systematic to make efficient use of resources within the time limit. 9. Principle of division. To make learning easier, the subject matter should be divided into units and there should be links between the units. 10. Principle of revision. To make learners remember the things they learned, they should be kept revising repeatedly. 11. Principle of certain and recreation. This principle is a must to make classroom environment humorous and creative. 12. Principle of democratic dealing. We need to involve learners in planning and doing various activities. It helps in developing self-confidence and self-respect among the learners. Let's quickly recap what we have learned till now.
This video on teaching practice covers the importance of effective teaching, emphasizing learner-centric approaches. It discusses principles such as motivation, activity-based learning, individual differences, and systematic planning. The instructor's role is highlighted, focusing on continuous reflection and adaptation. The principle aimed to create an engaging and effective learning environment, considering diverse learners' needs. I hope you have understood whatever was taught in the video. See you in another interesting and exciting video. Until then, thank you and goodbye.
Today I am covering my lecture on two topics. My first topic, what is a road structure and cause of deterioration of roads in India, and the second topic is joints in concrete pavements. My first topic is